the more raw and authentic it is, the better. People connect with that. The more super produced, scripted, I get it for certain things. Some things you do want polished, but for the everyday engagement, it really should be just whatever. It's so hard to get to that whatever because everyone cares about what they look like or what angle or da 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 da. But it really is just kind of a hump because once you get over that fear of, it takes you to a whole different place.
Welcome back to Real Estateable, your go-to podcast for raw, real, and relevant information in the real estate world. Today, we are interviewing two guests, their brother and sister, Tony and Patricia, and they are the Unengaged agents, and they are in Tampa.
Yes, and I feel like keeping up with AI trends, making sure you're staying relevant on social. We love to talk about connecting clients and community, and all of that is going to be wrapped up into one little episode. A lot of what we've already talked about, but really great reminders. And as things are changing consistently, I think we all need to hear this again and again and again.
Yeah, you guys definitely will get some value out of this, so give it a listen.
We are so excited today to have the Unengaged agent. We have Tony and Patricia here today, and we're excited to dive in really to talk about how they got started and really their role in real estate and the company that they have, the Unengaged agent. I think you guys are going to find this super interesting. So Tony, Patricia, thank you for joining us today. Can you guys of give a little bit of a intro of like how and when you got into real estate and just a history for you guys as agents in our industry?
Sure. I'll start with that. Tony and I are siblings. He's my brother. And I don't know if you knew that.
No,
I didn't.
I've been in real estate since 98. And our background is in real estate as well. Well, somewhat. We grew up in a real estate household. Our father is a broker. And, but we did go in different directions. I was in a nonprofit field for a little bit. Tony he'll tell you about him, but for me, the nonprofit and doing what we're doing now and even the podcast, it's bringing back like community outreach with localized content and supporting small businesses. So even though we're real estate agents, we do a whole lot more with connecting with the community.
Yeah, so we, we're based out of Tampa Bay. And I've been, real agents for 10 years now. I have, just a little bit longer. And my background is I was in television production. I was editor and producer on a national television show called Daily Buzz. But that's where I kind of got my media background, my, the camera work, the technical writing, and all that fun stuff. So I've taken that now into our real estate business, and I see the need for it among other agents. They're just not making videos, not online, and so we started the Unengaged agent to kind of help agents with that.
No, I just how it all even started, making those short form videos. And it was we saw the evolution, and I think through time for Musical.ly and then TikTok, especially for me, it was a little bit easier to get in front of the camera because at that time I felt like no one was watching or no friends and family and it was my little safe space. But we, through that tool of TikTok, learned so much and followed so many coaches and mentors and picked up all these tools and tips and tricks. I can't talk, sorry. But it's a tool is all I can say. I don't know.
Well, and so your videos and like social media and that, so it wasn't necessarily like when you first kind of like delved into this, it wasn't all like real estate related. So I know you're saying community was a really big part. That's a huge part of who we are as realtors. We always say we connect clients with community and just it's loving where we live aspect of that. So when you started really getting serious about social media, was that real estate based? Was that personal? Was that community? Like talk a little bit about what that looked like before it really took off for you.
It was obviously when we were first starting out, it was all scattershot, trying to figure out what we were doing with the platform, how we figured out where we wanted it to be. I think we kind of got in a groove now of having like local business spotlights and whatnot, reaching out to the community, having them on either on our YouTube channel or on the different platforms, and just really trying to become that go-to expert person for all of our area. We're based a little bit north of Tampa Bay, Pasco County, so it allows us to just become known as that, and have that connection, because that's how we grow as our audience and grow our know-how, is by reaching out to those communities and local nonprofits, and just reaching helping them as much as they help us, sort of deal.
Well, and I think too, by doing that, you're not only reaching your followers, you're reaching their followers, because likely
Correct.
they're going to share what you're producing. So that's giving you the maximum reach. But then on the flip side, to the consumer, that looks like you are the local expert. Oh, hey, they're talking to this business and that business and promoting this and that. And so I know we've had people come up to us in conferences and they're like, oh, we love what you're doing in the community. And we're like, it's too easy to go shoot a 30-minute like max video at a business just to promote them, and they promote us. And so I think that's great.
Well, and we have learned so much about our community too. Like, I feel so much more confident. One of our agents right now is actually, we're partnered with the local hospital, and she's currently out with a prospect doctor that's coming to the area. And I know, like, for me, I have like those insider tips from just connecting with these businesses where I'm like, wait, I've learned so much. Like, this is all about making sure, people relocating to our area. We are located north of Nashville, a really big military community. And so we have constant in and out of people coming to our area. And I think that's one of the things that I've learned too, is like, I just have so much more confidence as an agent, while also dual giving, the goal coming across of connecting our clients with community as well. So, and you guys are still doing that. I know we're talking about getting started with social.
That's the thing. Yeah, we're real estate agents, right? We're Trans-States Realty, but we have branded ourselves as Pasco Tampa Vibes for our channels. So basically that allows us to have localized content. If I'm at the movie theater and I want to do a quick little video, I see content everywhere, so I'm always making little videos, but it's my point in making what I make is to show that not to overthink it, and to completely just simplify it with little auto cuts. You insert 3 pictures, and next thing you know, you have this amazing video. But what we did learn is that people connect with people. So by putting your face out there, your voice out there, it's kind of like they know you a little bit already, or at least know your style, a little bit about you. But I think growing in different directions, besides, like you said, through the hospital, like it takes you in so many different directions while you connect online on these different platforms.
Yeah, and there's just there's maybe 16,000 agents in the Tampa Bay area, and just maybe a small handful of them are online, or a handful of them making videos. And especially with the new rules and changes and whatnot, with the NAR settlement, you need to be able to make that connection with an audience well before they're kind of ready to buy, or well before they're you have to be able to gain that trust. And video is such a great tool for that. I saw that with my television work. Once you put a person on television, you have that automatic trust, and socials, like that too. So it's just getting comfortable out there, getting your face out there, and providing good information.
Yeah,
whatever's relevant for that area. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I love what Patricia said, because I always say this when you said you're making videos and you just kind of think like, okay, nobody's watching this. My family and friends aren't watching this, because I literally tell everyone on our team, I'm like, guys, just pretend like nobody's watching it. Nobody's going to watch this. And that kind of gives you the comfort to be out of your comfort zone, make a video.
Absolutely. The way I went into it, I saw another person's video where she said to treat it like your own TV channel, right? Yeah. You just put on your station, what you want all day long. And if somebody doesn't like it, they switch a channel, they keep it going, so it's just constant, there's so many different directions that especially the newer agents that you're talking about, it's kind of like not focusing on the number of likes or how many followers. If you have 3 followers, those are 3 potential leads, that can take you in different directions. So
yeah, the goal is not to go viral. The goal is to become the local expert.
Yes.
Because you're not trying to reach the whole world. You just need to find your neighbors and your community.
Sorry, no, you had mentioned, spending 30 minutes at a local business, which is fantastic if that works. But we all do have busy schedules. We're always juggling a lot of things. So we're able to do our local business spotlight like this, via Zoom. And we insert, pictures or videos that they sent to us or work we can pull from their page or whatever it may be. And then if you post on Instagram, you can cross promote through collaboration. So you collaborate with that business. Hopefully they're on Instagram. And if not, maybe we could talk about getting them onto it. But the beauty of that is that that one video goes out to both audiences completely, which is great,
Yeah.
Well, and I was going to say too, a question for you. So when you're looking at your current content right now, when you think about community, social media, or like personal social, and your real estate, like what percentage are you is it all community? Are you just 100% focused on becoming that local expert? Do you do any personal posting, anything like family, kids, if you have, or anything like that? And then how much of your actual real estate, your properties and stuff, like what is a percentage that you're, maybe even like what did you start with and what are you at now? Would you guys say?
I think for me, totally, just because we're realtors with Pasco Tampa vibes, and then we're unengaged agents. So our content had to be, we had to really pay attention to who our audience is. So and like I said, I love to make videos all the time. So I have lots. I have my cats, I have my RV, I have the kids, all that stuff. So there was a time where everything was all at once because you want to get to know the person, right? But we were so laser focused on who we need to reach that I personally branched off. So I started my own channel with more of the personal stuff, but I still do mix. If we go to a restaurant, I'll take little pictures or clips, and then that's a, local business spotlight, right? So it's, and they love it. I mean, we all love it. It's cross promoting even through that way,
It's
So I mean, as far as percentage wise, I would say that smaller percentage, 15, 20% personal stuff, 20% business spotlight, another 20% that's like, just about the area, community, local news, stuff like that. And then the last is kind of, that whole, real estate properties
and stuff like that. So still the larger percentage would be real estate with a good mix of a balance of like the real relevant content,
the lifestyle, right?
Yeah,
live here, work here, play here, kind of. So just show the whole thing, and I think so many people are driven on the just sold or just listed, which we do too. We do because it's also for the sellers as well. But the content needs to be more than just that. And I think our goal is to help people get over the fear of being in front of the camera. And with, we have an AI and automation webinar that will also show you how to do things kind of faceless. It's not something that we, think you should start with, but if it's something that at least get you, your social media going, then it's a good step.
Yeah. Posting something is better than nothing. And I love that you said, when you're like out and about at a restaurant or different places in your community, you're snapping the pictures and the videos. My brother visits every summer and he lives out of country, doesn't really do social media and stuff. And my kids are trained where I'm like, hey guys, take a picture at the restaurant, take a picture at this playground, act like you're having fun. And they kind of know the drill. But when my brother was in town, I'm like, oh, I got to get content. He's like, content? What do you mean? And I was like, just get in there. And just, you got this.
Just get in there.
But the content really is already in your phone.
Yes.
Like you can have like a walking video at the mall and put some text up behind you. And I do it all the time. If my hair and makeup or I've got good sunlight or something, I'll just do like a 3-second video of me doing something like this. I don't know what I'm doing with it just yet, but it's there in my phone, and then when I'm trying to make something, I can just pull from that and create something out of it. And it's not just putting anything out there. We're bringing value. We're trying to, help the audience in whatever which way we can. We feel like that's our mission, is to serve others and help others get through to where marketing is going, digital marketing, and for the cost part of it, that there's so much like you can do for free with your phone thinking outside the box. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to be able to reach so many people for free, pretty much.
Yeah.
You have to reach so many people before. You'd have to spend on television ads, billboard ads,
Yeah.
Mail
and
marketing,
now you can,
newspaper.
yeah, email marketing.
Yeah.
And now you can just reach thousands of people in your area for practically free just by kind of engaging, telling stories out online, and being yourself.
And this is a way too, because you have a real estate audience, we have a real estate audience, and we're both bringing value, to the table to share with our audience. So I think that's what's fantastic. And I think, keeping that momentum going and learn from each other. I mean, it's not, I know it seems like so many of us are competitors, but we're not. We're all trying to make it, right? And take it day by day. And I think there's so many steps that can be skipped if you just, kind of learn from others too, or be inspired by others.
What percentage of your business do you think comes from social media?
I mean, it's a decent amount, but I think it's more collaboration.
Yeah, we haven't really quantified that.
Yeah.
I would like, it's hard to say because we no longer, before we got on social media, we used to always get those questions. Are you still doing real estate? Are you still selling homes? Now we don't get those questions anymore.
Correct. Yep.
Everybody knows what we do, who we are, and we are now the go-to person for any sort of real estate question. So it's hard to tie, did this home sale come from being social? Well, maybe not. But they know we sell homes, because we're online.
And then through social, you've connected with your previous buyers too. And, it's funny because we'll know, like if we post something relevant or new, when that new call comes in, it came from that video, which is nice. But not everything's directly related like that, like Tony said. And things take time. We're in here for the long-term game. So the relationships that are built now, we may not have anything to do with it until 5 years later. But, it's a growing times, really.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's kind of like you using social media. It's like a billboard. It's like you never know. It's the top of mind awareness. Like you said, it's like people know us over time. They know we're in real estate. They know we're connected to the community. But did someone actually press the inbox and say, okay, I'm ready to buy? But they maybe did a phone call, but it was all of those touches that there was no possible way that we were making all of those touches, all of those connections, all of those follow up. But they did see like the salad that I posted from a new menu at one of the beer gardens here in town.
Isn't that great?
And then the craziest thing is some of those things that you're like, and I'm not the greatest with social or anything technology. And Ashley will tell you, I'm like, how did that even get cross-posted? I don't even know. And then I got the most engagement from the place that I was like, somehow that showed up on that platform and people were connecting with me on that. But it was a chance to be able to have that organic conversation that then can lead into, hey, whatever happened with your mom that was talking about, moving to this area in the future? Is that still on the radar? And being able to, to fill in the blanks with that too. So it is hard because I think we always want to see, okay, I put 20 hours a week into this, and I want to know that lead generation yields me 5 sales a year, or so, things like that. And
I think this is something
difficult.
that's, it really is something that I don't think you can put a number to, honestly, or a percentage.
At least for us, yeah.
Well, even when I've had buyers who've come from other lead sources, like a lender referral, et cetera, I've had them comment back, like before they even really were like in new way of changes with the NAR settlement. They're doing so much research on us before they're comfortable with raising their hand and going, okay, great. Yes, I'm comfortable signing this agreement with you ahead of time. I'm comfortable. Right. They're doing so much research on us as consumers, looking, at us as professionals. And we have a great opportunity to gain that trust really across the board. And it's not individually sitting down at an appointment, individually, having those conversations. To the masses, you have the ability to impact, people feeling comfortable with raising their hands and saying they would like to use and pay for our services. So I think that we really need to keep that in mind. It's like, it is I have coaches that say the juice is worth the squeeze, because there's definitely a more of a residual bigger picture that comes out of social.
Totally.
For sure.
Yeah.
What kind of equipment are you guys using? So like for those that are not even getting started, are you guys still using cell phones to capture that content while you're out and about? Like, what is it if someone's like, okay, day one, this costs too much for me to get started?
Oh, and I'm going to piggyback on her question too. So what also, once you guys video, Are you editing the content within like the Instagram or TikTok apps? Are you using CapCut, or what other programs are you using to edit?
So we both have different pathways
Yeah, I was going to say we're totally
putting our
different.
videos out.
Good.
Totally
good.
different.
That's great.
We approach things different ways. I come from the television big production. I use Adobe Premiere for any sort of long form content to edit, or even desktop CapCut to kind of do any kind of quick edits. I do have a fancy nice DSLR camera, but most of my footage now it's shot on my iPhone. It takes 4K, video, and it, things I used to dream of back in the day now is on my phone. So, all the footage is shot on the iPhone, but Patricia's, I guess, more mobile and whatnot.
100% mobile. I really don't even know how to use a mouse. I mean, seriously, I'm lost with it, especially if it's editing or doing anything on the actual computer. But yeah, for me, I kind of do both. For engagement wise, I try to edit within the app, and not all the apps are as friendly as others. So CapCut is my go-to. Simple. It's very simple for me. Timely, where you can just throw in everything and edit it. Again, sounds complicated, but it's super simple. Once you see like the tutorial and actually how to do that, you're like, oh my gosh, yeah.
But yeah, and then the key thing is make sure it's on. You don't have to have the best equipment. You don't need a fancy mic, lighting rig, any of that to kind of get started. Eventually, you can kind of get there, but you just need to be comfortable talking to the camera, talking to yourself, and getting your notes out there.
Well, and there's also
back to that new age. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was going to say, but there's also apps too that will, like, for AI, will straighten your eyes. So if you're reading something that's kind of to the right, it'll focus your eyes to the center, and no one will know you're even reading if you're uncomfortable talking, without a script. So
correct.
Yeah. One of the captions app, the horrible name for an app, but it works. So I've used it to do we do kind of like a what's new in real estate weekly video. So I'll have it has a teleprompter feature. I'll throw my script in there. I'll read it on camera. It'll fix my eyes. It'll go in and throw in graphics, throw in, obviously captions on the bottom too, so people can understand. And it does all that. You can add music if you want. So that's the go-to app if I want to get something done very fast.
And that's Captions app. You said Captions.
Yeah, the Captions app.
Is that free?
I think can I circle back to the question about new agents and getting started and no money and what do I do and all that stuff? Because I think that's the biggest challenge, right? Don't know where to begin. I would say number one, create your own business page, right? You want to start branding yourself as real estate agent. And that's the start. The start is being on social media. And if you're already on social media, the next step is making short form videos. And it really is just putting out the content. The more raw and authentic it is, the better. People connect with that. The more super produced, scripted, I get it for certain things. Some things you do want polished, but for the everyday engagement, it really should be just whatever. It's so hard to get to that whatever because everyone cares about what they look like or what angle or da-da-da-da-da, but it really is just kind of a hump because once you get over that fear of, it takes you to a whole different place because this is not me personally. This is not Tony. This is not who, we're not used to being in front of the camera or talking to it. And it was terrifying. But I think what did it for me really was TikTok and just keep making them to where it just got more comfortable and not make them and kind of, you don't need to watch it. You don't need to see it again.
Do not watch it.
Because if you do, then you're like, oh my gosh, my hair. And I do it. I mean, Tony knows. He hears it all the time. Like, oh no, not, my hair or whatever. But again, it's getting over that and just being yourself and bringing value or humor or laughter, it's just something that's feel good. We do with Pasco Tampa Vibes and the Unengaged Agent. We try to keep everything on the positive. We're just about positive vibes. We know there's a lot of negative out there. And if there is something negative to talk about, we try to bring the positive to it. Yes. So we're not around to bash or waste time on that. We just really want to, help each other out and learn. We want to learn from others too. So.
Oh, is that a free app or I'm sure they have a paid version?
Yeah, the paid version does all the things I was mentioning
Okay,
between
gotcha.
the AI edit and I'm not sure if the eye tracking is part of the paid version or not, but some of these things we definitely feel is worth it, like Captions app,
Yeah.
CapCut Pros it comes in handy sometimes. Obviously ChatGPT Pro, that plus that's a must in our now everyday kind of workflow.
Yeah. Us too.
And one of the
Yes,
things,
literally,
yeah,
literally.
I mean, I don't know if you heard of repurpose.io, but that's what we use too to automate across all the different platforms. So again, for the newer agents that are on only Instagram, you can create your reel on Instagram and set up a workflow where that one reel is posted onto TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and X. If I don't know if I forgot any, but
Yeah.
it's pretty
Uh,
fascinating how that one video can go to all those places minus the watermark, and it carries over all the hashtags and descriptions too.
yeah, that was such a time saver for us. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Do you prefer the repurpose site versus like later? And because I've tried later before, and sometimes I don't know if it was operator error or if it was the app. I'm sure it was probably me, but I liked it for a little bit, and then I kind of quit using it, and I'll just manually post it to the different platforms.
So yeah, we've played around with like say Buffer and a little bit with later, and those work well. But repurpose was definitely wouldn't mind as far as for just short form videos,
Gotcha.
not so
Mhm.
much still graphics. So just videos itself, and allowed us to post directly to one platform. So we were able to post on Instagram directly, and it pulled the video from Instagram and have it post to all the other platforms.
I
So
love that.
we get still get that in app engagement in app workflow without having to go elsewhere.
And we'll make sure on our show notes that we have all of these resources linked for you guys as
Okay.
well. And
Yeah,
we're going to
thank
take
you.
a quick break, and we want to dive in a little bit more about the AI conversation and the unengaged agent, just to learn a little bit more from both of you. So hang tight. We'll be right back. Are you looking for ways to become more efficient and save time in your day as a real estate agent?
We've got the thing for you. We have created 18 done-for-you email templates that cover the entire process on the buying side and the selling side.
The best part is that this is only $49 and includes customizable email templates for the process to get you through start to finish with your buyers and sellers.
Head over to realestateable.com/email templates, and that's where you can find them. All right, guys, welcome back. We're going to finish up this interview and talk a little bit more about the unengaged agents approach and kind of their core principles and just what are you guys doing in general? What is the unengaged agent?
Well, not against agent. It's our social media marketing company where we help agents learn about social media, learn about AI, and how they can use that in their real estate marketing. It is such a fast changing world out there, and AI terms and companies are coming around, day and night. So we kind of simplify it. We're like, hey, this is the only stuff. This is stuff you need to know if you're a real estate agent, and you want to use these tools, because you can definitely get bombarded by everything out there. Google's got a new version coming out. Meta's got their own AI. Obviously Microsoft with Copilot, ChatGPT. So all these things are out there, and we're like, forget all the fluff. Here's what you need to know.
Well, I
Here's
feel
how
like
we
the
use it
minute you know it, it changes. So you keep up with the changes.
It's true.
And kind of
Yeah.
keep us updated on that. I really
And that's
love
the
that.
goal. That's the goal,
Yep.
is to have that community that's growing and staying up to date. And with the AI is fascinating, and it's more than people think AI is just Chat GPT and can write a resume or look up a recipe and what it can actually do, and it's more of
Mhm.
an assistant for us, right? It's more of a
Yeah.
brainstorming tool, just a lot of shortcuts through this.
One of the go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was going to say, I joke with Ashley. I'm like, AI just needs to listen to our conversation, summarize it, create a to-do list, and then basically run our entire day. I'm like, if
it does,
so
it can.
I'm like, it can. Okay,
can.
great.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So Zoom has an AI summary function.
Okay.
And we have our morning meetings through Zoom,
Okay.
so we can turn that on. It can give us a summary after we're done on what to do and what we talked about. And it's we don't use it all the time like we should, but it's there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like Anthony has used that before.
Yep.
But I love that too, because you guys can probably take the summary, put that into ChatGPT and say, can you create a caption for this video or this meeting or whatever, if it's, a local business interview like you guys were saying.
It's super handy for buyer consultations.
Yes.
When we're dealing with buyers and we want to make sure we don't miss anything or forget or miss something with the notes, we can kind of go back and see the transcript, see the summary, like, oh, okay, this is exactly what they're looking for, what kind of home they're thinking about. And it's just, as I said, you use it as our assistant all the time.
Man, for post NAR settlement, that's a really great tip. Doing your buyer consults and then being able to summarize, make sure you're not missing a beat, any kind of follow up that needs to be done. Man, that's huge. We've been talking about so much about perfecting the way that we're doing things, making sure we're being efficient and transparent across the table, across the computer. That's a really solid idea for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the just get a little more technical. The new iPhone OS that's coming out in September, October, that I think is going to have a call record function on it, so you can have a transcript or even the summary, or even take the transcript and throw it in ChatGPT and have a summary, kind of spit out. So that's exciting. It could be pretty cool.
Yep.
And obviously, everyone's aware if you're being recorded. You got to disclaim that we have recording here.
Recording is now in
one of the things that Tony did the other day that I thought was neat was we went to a builder meeting, and we had the brochure. He's taking notes, scribbling down some stuff, and we came back, and like you said, we do our morning meetings via Zoom, and he was getting ready. We were getting ready to talk about it, type it up, do all that stuff, and instead he pulled out his phone. He went to ChatGPT and he voice texted everything he wrote, and it generated a whole outline that we were able to just pretty much, I don't even know if you made any edits to it or if it was.
No, it did put it in a nice little format with broke down the sections, like here's the price, here's the square footage, here's the lot sizes, had it all, in a very easy to read manner. And we were able to just take that information, throw it in our email and get it to our clients within just a few minutes.
I love that.
Yeah. So it was like 5 minutes worth of, that to me, that was fascinating, because I'm fascinated every day. Like you said, it changes all the time, right? And the possibilities are endless. And that's why, again, I like to talk to other people about it, because it's like, whoa, I didn't know you could do that,
Well, I think we're talking about perfecting systems and elevating ourselves as professionals, making sure that our UVP and how we are doing business is clearly expressed. And I think a lot of that too, you think about, okay, you're working harder and longer and more, it's taking more to run businesses than it ever has before. I think that, okay, great. Yes, that's true. We're not going to say it's not true, but what are different systems that you can have in place where normally you would almost like triple back the time you spent with that builder? How can you be more efficient in that? And the things and tips and tricks like that, you got to think about, okay, the society we're in, it's taking more work to make things happen, but how can we use the society that we're living in and the tools that are here right now and the now to basically double back that time? So many different things. We just got to slow down and really think about those processes that we're doing, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we're fans of using AI to bulk create your work, right? To have ChatGPT create a table, create, say 10 things to do in Tampa Bay, right? Something easy ChatGPT can kind of create. We can clean up what we want. We bulk create it in Canva. Just take the table, throw it in Canva, have Canva create 10 slides, and then just use Meta Business Suite to kind of schedule them out to Facebook and Instagram. takes a few minutes of your day, of your time, and you can have like a whole month's worth of content done really in a day.
And those slides, those slides can be put together for a video. They could be, one after the other for a carousel. So there's so many things, and when you said table, all this is generated from ChatGPT. So it's pretty fascinating to me, and it can even do images. You can say, give me, a downtown Tampa, skyline, and it gives you different in pop art. I want it in a pop art look, and it makes it for you.
Another cool use case I used AI for is HOA docs. We had a listing recently, and the HOA docs are like 80 pages long, big PDF to kind of go through, and I just wanted to know, like, what's their pet policy on that. I threw the PDF into ChatGPT. I asked it the question like, "Hey, from this document, what is the pet policy?" It spat it out in a few seconds, and I said, "Well, can you tell me exactly what page it's on? I want to read it just to confirm, because just want to double check." And it said, "All right, it's on this page." And I went back and like, okay, yep, it looks right. It helped, and it saved me from scrolling through
20 minutes of your day.
It's time. It's just time. We don't have the time, right? We want to live and do fun things and spend time with our family and friends. And I think, that's the thing, people might think all, work. I mean, it's just to really streamline this. So, instead of spending an hour and working on a newsletter for clients, we can do it in 10 minutes, so it's learning things like that can help those save time. And that really is the number one thing for me.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things, I know you guys mentioned that you do webinars and things like that to educate agents. What else do you guys offer as far as, do you guys do other types of training? Is there membership? How does that work? What does that look like?
Yeah. So in addition to our AI and automation webinar, which they can watch for free, we have a comprehensive course. We have called Reels, Shorts, and TikToks for real estate agents, and it brings them really from A to Z on how to get started on social media, how to create their profile, how to localize their profile, kind of what kind of content they should be looking into making to localize it, and then gets all the way to the advanced AI stuff and the automation where it's able to go on all the platforms with just one click. It's a course we have that's, they can kind of learn at their own pace. And of course we have our communities and whatnot where they can kind of learn more current information, more relevant. But the course is probably a good place to start who doesn't know where to go.
And it also has a lot of tutorials in between, right? So on how to make that first video, how to trim that video, how to add text, how to add music, just the basics to get you started. And once you start, it really is just pushing buttons, and eventually you'll figure it out too, right? So it's just learning how, and the basics to just get the ball rolling.
And that's a self-paced course you were saying, so it's just like a
self-paced, course. And and it starts at the basics and it goes to the much more advanced stuff that we're talking about now, where it's
which we'll keep adding to as we go along. So it'll be as we learn, you'll learn. That's pretty much what we want to do. We're not trying to. We want to be transparent and teach as we go, and it's a game changer. And I think just having an open mind.
We're adding an AI section every few bits because it changes everything.
We blink and
it's hard for people to get over. Oh, sorry. No, I said I think it's hard for people that are anti-social media or not quite getting why you need to make videos and can't see past that part of it. And I think once you realize that it really is a strategic tool that we can use to our advantage to market. I think that's the biggest struggle. And for me, like with seasoned agents too, right? They're like, I don't want that. I don't know that. That's for kids or,
they definitely need to see the value of making that connection prior to trying to see that first home. No longer will we just go meet someone at a home and try to build a connection that way. You want that connection prior to. You want those buyers and sellers to want to break down walls for you to work with them, and you get that by being in their face and kind of showing your value.
Yeah. Well, I think anyone's going to research, like any consumer is going to research you online, whether it's your Google business page with the reviews or Facebook.
Right.
I mean, I don't buy anything on Amazon without reading the reviews, you know?
Yeah.
So what happens to all those real estate agents that are not on social media, right? Like that's a
Exactly.
hard wall to like go through, I feel like, you know.
Well, I also think too, when I'm sending out referrals to different states, I'm looking at your social. Like, what
Yep.
are you doing? Are you involved in your community? Do you put out helpful information for the consumer? So that's another thing too. Other agents are looking for possible referral business too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were asking about, you know, any direct leads from social media. A lot of it has been referrals through social media. Yeah.
Yep.
So not, you know, it just comes in different directions.
Yeah. Do you guys have any upcoming like workshops or webinars or anything new coming?
Yeah, I think the AI and automation webinar, we have the replay available now, but we'll also have some live ones coming up too. It is the thing to just kind of get a basis, get your head around how to use AI, because I know that can be daunting. That's what I recommend people starting with, and then when they're ready to learn more, we're here for them.
And where can they find you? So that webinar, where is that located? The communities that you're talking about, where is
Yeah.
the consumer able to find the Unengaged agent?
Yeah, they can find everything on our website, theunenageagent.com, or a link on our profiles on any of any of the platforms. You know, you can just click on the link, and it'll have a list for the webinars, list for our groups, and any sort of other tools that they can. And we have lists of all the tools that we talked about today. You know,
Yeah,
that they
everything's
can
on the link
kind
in
of-
bio pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so for those, we have realtors around the country that listen and tune in. If they're looking to place a referral, you said you cover the North Tampa or like all the greater Tampa area. And where
Yeah,
can they find
yeah.
you on social media as agents? Where is the best way to connect with you guys as agents?
Yeah,
Thank
on
you.
our social media platforms for Pasco Tampa Vibes.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. Love the vibe.
Thanks.
Love the vibes.
And it
for
is
sure.
even that it's tools like that, like to know to put those words into your handle, you
Yep.
know, because that is how you're found. Or oh, you're in Pasco. Oh, you're in Tampa, and that's from a search. You know, you're in Tennessee and you want to find a Tampa agent. You know, if you put in those keywords, you know, it just depends of the day, of course, but it helps. It definitely helps with finding you.
Yeah, especially since more people are using social media platforms as a search tool.
Yeah.
As opposed to going to Google for everything. Now
I do.
people are
I
searching-
definitely use.
Guilty.
Yeah, I do because I just want a quick, easy
Yep.
answer and whatever I'm looking for. You know, where Tony, again, we're total opposites, but he needs the YouTube long form. I can't sit that long, you know, unless I really, really, really need to. But you know,
It's funny you say that because my husband will send me, you know, videos on Instagram or wherever he finds. And I'm like, if it's longer than like a minute, I'm
Count me out.
probably not
Yeah,
watching the
yeah.
whole thing.
I get
Because he'll
it.
be
I
like,
get
did you
it
watch
completely.
it? And I'm like, well, I watched a minute and then I quit. Like, I'm not going to watch a
But I-
10-minute video, you know?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? But yeah, it's true. It's so true.
Well, I feel like Googling is such a like an antiquated kind of search idea when you're thinking like, if I want to know like, okay, can I make a connection with this business product, anything, I feel like social media is such a more personable approach to that I know if I search for it, I can scroll 10 seconds of 20 different reels in a very short time and go, okay, yep, this is the vibe I'm looking for. Okay, yes, this is, I want to
Yeah.
learn more. And Google, it's just such a black and white approach to that. It's like you have to do so much more work to know, is this really something that I plan on engaging with and really doing business with? So I think we have to think about, we always, in our social media approach and episodes that we've recorded, think like the consumer. Like what do you do as a consumer? Sit back and go, if I was looking for something, how am I treating whatever platform as a consumer? And to be able to attract those like-minded folks, you need to be doing the same type
Right.
of
And
thing.
I think that's why it's important to keep your content where you want it to
Yes.
go, like the direction that you want it to be in. Right. Because I think in the beginning, like I had mentioned, I had a mix of everything. And then I was, we got to the point where, okay, people are following us as real estate agents for our advice. And here's my cat videos and all these things popping through. So I didn't want to, because, when you're following someone and you're learning something, it's all those distractions in between. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What would you say, kind of final thoughts, wrapping it up, what would you say, like the top 3 things that you would want our listeners to know? If they're just starting out, what would you say, like top 3 things that they should do or take away from this episode?
I really feel like just record videos of yourself. And when I say videos, I'm really saying like 2 seconds, like just a quick little clip. And even if it's a 2-second clip, you can, slow down the speed and stretch it out a little bit.
Yep.
But I think just getting more images of yourself and posting them without having to, what's the script? What am I going to say? I don't know what to say. Like it's already there. Your face is there and you're kind of one step ahead. When it comes to overcoming the fear of being on camera is where I'm going with that one. And I guess that's tip one.
Yeah. The second thing I would say is find out your audience, find out who your target audience is, either through brainstorming, through, ChatGPT, try to really hone in on that, really who you're trying to reach. And that'll streamline your content. It'll streamline, your marketing, just by knowing who you're talking to.
Yeah. And I can add on to that third one, I think, is to know, the know, trust factor, right? People got to like you, know you, and trust you. But the number one thing is trust. And I think that trust is built through genuine authenticity and getting to know you, through a screen for now until person. But I think that's a major to build for yourself, and what goes out there stays out there too. So just be mindful on your content. It's not to say you can't post what you want, but it just depends on your audience, really. What's your goal? What's your end goal?
It's going to circle back to you. Post what you want, but it's going to come back around.
Yes.
Such good tips. Oh my goodness. So many great things packed into this less than an hour interaction and conversation with you guys. So appreciate you guys taking the time, and we're excited to dive in to your AI course for sure. And stay connected with you. And if you need if you guys need any more information, feel free to connect with us or the Unengaged agent for more information.
Thank you so much for having us on.
Thank you for your time. Yeah, thank you for having us.
What a great episode with Tony and Patricia. I'm super excited to check out their webinar. I think that's my biggest takeaway, the webinar on AI. I still feel kind of overwhelmed because it's changing all the time.
Yeah.
Like change in an old dog is not cool.
Well, see, like you have that perspective, and me, I'm like, okay, I've heard about repurpose. I think it's repurpose.ai or something like that. I've been hearing about that for years. I used to use Later, didn't love it necessarily. So I think I'm going to try out the repurpose AI. I love that they talked about some of the different ways you can use ChatGPT, talking about local events, creating a newsletter in Canva. All of these things work hand in hand. So, and a lot of it's free. Like you don't have to pay for a lot of these tools that they're using. You
just got to get it set up.
Yes.
That's the key to that.
Yeah.
I also really like the idea. Some of the things that I'm making multiple steps out of, like processes that are like the example that they used about the builders meeting, that they were able to help ChatGPT hit a to-do list and a summary list, etc. I'm like, what are those things that I'm making more complicated than they need to be? Like who and what can be helping me? What programs can be helping me simplify some of the stuff that I'm doing every day? That's my biggest takeaway. Even though it probably will change in the future, I think keeping up with the Unengaged agent, they're ahead of it, and partnering with people or resources that are keeping up with the changes that you don't have to. I think that is a super, super great takeaway from today as well.
Well, not only that, they're agents. So they're just like us. And they started at some point, like Patricia was saying, like she didn't like to be on camera. But she just pretended like no one's watching. And that's exactly what I do too. I'm like, let me make this video. Oh, no one's going to watch it. It's fine. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I posted a picture of me assembling Popeyes in my sweatpants. So, it's whatever. Like it's content. Everything is content. Don't be afraid to use it. It doesn't have to be perfect and pristine and all of that. Just get your content out there, get your message out there. Definitely follow the Unengaged agent, check out their webinar, because I think that there's so much value packed in that. Everybody can learn something there.
And if you just need to take away one thing from today, make a mental note, write it down when you can, take away one thing to get started in moving the ball forward. And if that one thing is just watching their AI webinar, cool, get started there. You can rewatch the episode later, check out show notes. There's a ton of information packed in, but you just need to get started.
All right, guys, if you found this helpful, make sure you give it a 5-star review, share it with a colleague. You can find us everywhere at Real Estateable, and we will catch you next time.